Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Bandai Namco Tamashii Nations Chogokin Metroid Prime Beyond SAMUS ARAN, and it's expensive. It's $300 or just about that. And I was thinking to myself, as they announced this, as they showed this, as they released it, there's no way they can justify that price point with this figure. There's just no way. There's not enough going on to do that. And I have to tell you, after having it in hand, I was right. It's not even close to a $300 figure. There's some really great stuff about it, but there's also some crazy bad stuff about it too, and we're going to talk about all of it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is a package. Oops, there goes the camera. And it looks nice. There's no window. I'm getting tired of packages without windows. I don't personally care because they just go in storage anyway, but I get that they don't want to do that because they're not being sold at stores, but also people like to display figures in their packaging. And you can't do that very well like this. I mean, it looks nice for sure, but if you're an inbox collector, you might like a window. That's all I'm saying. Alright, so there you go. Yeah, it's nice. It has a lot of photos here. That pose does not look good in real life. And the rest of it is okay. Okay, let's go ahead and set this aside. This thing is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. If you want to get one, I'll put a link in the description below. I don't recommend it, but if you want to go against my advice, you are allowed to. And if you do, I request that you use my link. Because why not? Alright, so now our camera's adjusted. Here it is. This figure stands to the top of the helmet, just about 21.5 inches, centimeters. Pretty much spot on, too. Not like a rough eyeball. That's pretty dang close. That's a just touch under 8.5 inches, like 8 3/8 or so, 8 7/16. Here she is up against Darwin. So scaling is like, it's not going with anything. Nothing in your collection is going to be this scale. Not really. So that's super weird. I guess you can stick her on the shelf with a bunch of robots or something, but she's not going on the shelf with any other Nintendo product, that's for sure. So, okay, question of the day, what did you think of Metroid Prime 4? And what do you think about Metroid Prime series in general? Because if you're just a Metroid Prime series hater, then your opinion doesn't matter. But if you liked all the others and then didn't like this one, that might tell you something. Or us. Might tell everyone else something. Okay, I played the first one. I loved it. I played the remaster. I loved it. I haven't played the other ones, and I have zero interest in this one from what I've seen. Alright, let's talk about this figure. Aesthetically, it's beautiful in some ways. The paint job is nice. We have the glossier finish with the metal flake in the orange. That's nice. The goldish color, not as glossy, but in some areas it is. Like in the torso, it's pretty glossy. Down here, it's not. Don't love that. The pinkish purple, it's painted all right. I'd like to see a little bit of... That's glowy, right? It's supposed to be glowy? I could be wrong. It's been glowy when it was green in the past, so I'm assuming that should be glowing, which means it should have some kind of paint effect to make it look like that, but it's just metallic, so you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I won't hold that against the figure, but it is something to note. It is just metallic. It is not transparent or translucent in any capacity. Same thing with all of the other purple, except for her chest eyeballs and her face mask. That's it. And I guess this thing technically, but I don't know. And then the gun also is translucent. But here's the thing, the lights are on the figure right now. It lights up, and the lights are on, and they are basically worthless in any amount of light. Let me turn these off. I got brand new batteries. Everybody likes to say, oh, you just have bad batteries. Nope. Nope. In fact, they used batteries that I didn't have, so I had to buy brand new ones. You guys know I review a lot of action figures around here, and I have lots of batteries. Button batteries, and they chose to do LR41, which I've never had to use before, so I had to buy some. Anyway, the gun just looks like an LED in there. It doesn't have like a nice enough frosting on it, so it doesn't have a very good glow. It's just a bright light. Looks like a little flashlight. And then the face mask. I know it's not supposed to be super bright or anything. It's supposed to make it look like her face is in there, but you can't, like, I can see it in real life because the lights are dark here. On camera, it's so faint you can barely see it. And under normal lighting conditions, without turning the lights off, you can't see it for crap. It's very, very faint. Let me brighten it up a whole bunch. I won't be able to move the figure at all, or it'll just be all jittery. But you can just barely make it out if the lights are on. Which, like, it's a cool enough feature, but put a brighter light behind it so that you can actually see it. This little spot kind of lights up, though what you're seeing right here is mostly reflection. There you go. It lights up. It lights up way better than the rest of the face. The chest does as well. However, the LEDs are, like, inside, not behind here, and it's not very frosted, so you actually see hot spots of light depending on how you have it posed. So she actually looks like she's hollow because the light is so obviously, like, 5 millimeters in there or something like that. It just doesn't look good, which is the problem I have with Chogokin stuff in general. Not that it doesn't look good. Let me get the lights back on and I'll explain. My problem with Chogokin stuff in general is that it doesn't look good enough for the price point. They charge you astronomical prices, but then do things like the lights aren't very good, or they didn't frost the light up stuff so you can just see inside and see the LEDs that are like recessed into her chest cavity. Things like that drive me nuts with the Chogokin line, and that's what we have here. Same thing with this. We're talking about the aesthetics. You can see that this abdomen section is ugly as hell. There's just a giant gap going around here, which is obviously for articulation. This piece right here that's spring-loaded a little bit, which also serves almost no purpose. You'll see, you can see the big gap around it in the tab at the bottom. It just makes the figure not look good. The paint job is beautiful. The sculpt is mostly really good, but then you have things that just don't look nice at all. The ankle guards don't look very good. Like I said, the torso doesn't look very good, and when you pose her, you end up with these giant ugly knees. It doesn't look good. They didn't put enough effort into making it look good. It's fine enough when it's on a small scale Figma for $100, or way less than 100 when it first started getting released. But a lot of the things on this figure just don't look very good. Her elbows, they look cheap. They look like SH Figuarts Iron Man figures that were like under $100 originally and tiny, so it's like, okay, well, they can't do much better. This is $300 and gigantic. It should look so much better. The only thing this thing really has going for it is the paint job. Like, it's a nice paint job for sure. Although, my chest piece is a different finish than the head, and it's probably not going to show up on camera because of the gloss. You're not going to be able to tell. But it's a thing. It is definitely a thing to consider. So far, aesthetically, it's fine, but it is certainly not impressive at $300. I mean, that's pushing Flame Toys territory, and I've always said, at least as long as Flame Toys have existed, they're way higher finish quality than Chogokin stuff. This is just... it's so incredibly underwhelming for the price point, and the simplicity of the figure. So yeah, aesthetically, I'm going to give this... paint job's great, everything else not. I'm just gonna say like 7 out of 10. For $300, it should be way better. Way better. Way better, especially the light up gun and the light up face. Alright, in terms of accessories, you get some alternate hands, which are just the bare essentials, which is fine. I'm just saying, it's not a lot for $300. They should have lowered the price, not given her more accessories. Although you could have had some blast effects or something with the lights, but no. We have the one purple hand, the rest are just normal. You have the interchangeable tip for her gun arm, which is fine. Again, it's just fine. That's it. That's it for accessories, other than this display stand, which is an absolute turd. It's a giant turd. It looks like it's been 3D printed. I mean, obviously they added the texture to it on purpose, but it doesn't look good. It's hollow. It has no weight to it at all. There's no detail. There's no like SAMUS ARAN. There's no nothing. It's just, it looks like a piece of 3D printed junk. Oh, but we have the bendy arm. That doesn't, it has the coating on it so you don't see anything. Great. Love that. Needed a bendy arm that doesn't even peg in properly. And is a different plastic where it connects. It just looks like crap. It's so bad. And then you can put tips on there to connect it to her. That's it, other than if you want to count this little tool, which is used for popping open her parts to flip her switches. Accessory-wise, I'm going to take points away for that display stand being such an ugly eyesore. Black upright, brown bottom, unpainted, undetailed. Ugh. 0 out of 10 for accessories. For $300? You gotta be shitting me. That's terrible. That's the ugliest display stand I've ever seen. Not counting the Hiya Toys ones that... well, we don't have to get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation on this figure. Maybe that's really good. In some places it is. In some places it is, in other places it is not. So for the head and neck, obviously Samus has the helmet, you know, that's kind of an issue. But it doesn't move around very well, and it doesn't look good doing it. Do you see that neck in there? It just swivels around on top. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to show you properly. If I do this and this, maybe you can see it rotating. It doesn't look at all like it should. It looks like they put zero effort into it. It can lean forward and back a little, and then it just springs back into place when you go forward. It has almost no range for the neck. And then you get the rotation there. I don't know what it's supposed to be able to do even. Either mine's really stuck, or they just gave it really crap range in order to get the light feature to work, which is just lazy, because like you can definitely have range and a light up feature, especially a crappy light up feature like that. Neck and head look terrible. The shoulders, I'll give it to them. This is a butterfly joint that it's just connected on a ball peg up front, so it can go up and down, forward and back. It moves around pretty well. That's a nice setup. No problem there. They didn't add any collapsible pieces here, so I think her chest looks more narrow than it should. This should be broader, and then it should have like a collapsing function so that you can actually pose the figure around. Doesn't have that. The shoulders also very loose. Not floppy loose, but very loose. You get your full range there. You get your hinge, which works. And they did a good job with the shoulder pads. That's one of the best things about the figure. The shoulder pads are on a ball peg hinge combo thing. I think it's a ball peg, yeah. So it has the whole shoulder is just an extra joint for the shoulder pads, and then there's extra hinges. So you can move them all the way around. No problem at all. Obviously you don't want to do that, but it does work nicely. The shoulder pads are very well thought out. It's like they put all of their effort into that, which is not enough, unfortunately. All right, for the arms, you do get your bicep swivel underneath the shoulders, though the shoulders don't really have the clearance for it unless you move them out. See how it's bumping into it and moving it as we go? So be aware of that. You might scratch your shoulders. Yeah, just a bicep swivel. I showed you the elbows. Decent enough range, but they are not good looking, that's for sure. The wrists are on little ball pegs, just basic ball pegs, so they don't look very good. Not for $300. It's just nuts to me that this is $300. Oh, it's die cast. Who cares? I don't care what it's made out of. Make it look good and pose well. That's what I care about. All right, for the torso, you get rotation right here, a little bit. Let me pan back a little. You get a little bit of rotation there. Like I said, this is spring loaded, but only at the bottom here, not at the top. So the rotation could end up scratching it. Be aware of that. It has a little bit of lean back at this area, a little bit of lean forward at that area. That's where you get that collapsing. It has a little bit of range there. And then you get more rotation and lean down here at this ugly, ugly, ugly cut. They could have done this so much better, but they didn't. This is the maximum leaning it gets to go back. Basically zero. Leaning forward, it gets a lot more. But what the heck? For $300, that's the maximum range, and it looks bad doing it. So what's the point? Leaning side to side is decent. I'll give them that. Not super helpful, but like it can pose, but not that well, and not while looking good. For $300, that's the key thing here. Alright, for the hips, there's no drop-down functionality, or if there is, mine won't go. So it just rotates forward. She can kick high. I'll give them that. The way they put the joint in there, it has the right range for kicking. So she can kick and pose. You can get her in that Metroid 2 pose. That's fine. Bringing her leg back, you can do that also. You probably won't need to do that, but you can. So I'll give them that. And then, so you have a ball peg where the gray part connects to the rest of the leg. So the thigh swivel is a ball peg. You get your thigh swivel, ball peg in there, not a ton of range, and you get this little flap right here. That's it for range for hips, which is probably fine. Again, except for the fact that it costs $300, and when you bring her legs out to the side, it just stretches her pelvis. Like her legs are no longer connected where they're supposed to be connected. And they did that to account for the hips, but like it doesn't look good again. So what's the point? There's no point in any collectible if it doesn't look good. Because they're not meant for function, they're meant for looking good primarily. Alright, for the knees, you get these. I'm not 100% sure why. I guess if you bend the leg too far back, it has a little bit of flex there. Or too far forward. Why do those move? A little bit. It's not enough to like hide the knee joint or anything. You get a deep bend, but like I told you before, it's ugly. And that, what the, Bandai, man, what are you doing? And then for the ankles, all right, she gets no range going back, like almost none. Very, very little range going back, and clearly they could have done more. They certainly could have done more. Going forward, she gets good range going forward. I'll give them that. That's nice. This piece is still hideous, and it's the wrong orange. Well, maybe. I don't know. You guys tell me. Are the knees and... because there's two different oranges going on here. I'm assuming the knees and this piece are intentionally the darker color. I hope that's the case. Okay. Like I said, I didn't play this game. Ankle rocker works pretty well. Toe hinge is okay, but loose. That's it. It has the most basic functionality of articulation. Her gun arm is fine, but it's just another elbow joint, so not surprising, but also loose. So yeah, it is the basic functionality of an action figure at an incredibly high price. And for what? LEDs don't cost that much, and they didn't implement them very well. The paint job? Not really. The articulation's ugly. I don't get it. I'll rate the articulation as a 5 out of 10. It technically is an action figure, and it technically can pose. But for the price, it's crazy limited, and loose, and ugly. So, time for the final verdict on this $300 monstrosity. Why didn't they just have another Figma? Like, I can't imagine a lot of people are buying this. Just make more Figmas, Nintendo. Stop doing weird things with your merchandising. This is not something I think anybody really wanted. Who wants a giant Samus figure that doesn't look that good? From a game that was, at best, middling. Like, in terms of popularity. What is happening? You know what? You make something like this, make it out of Super Metroid. A thing that every Metroid fan ever would want to buy. Not this. And make it good, because it's $300. This doesn't have anything going for it other than the paint job. That's it. Oh, if you like your figures to be heavy, because it's die-cast. I forgot about that. That is it. So I'm going to give this thing an overall rating of, for $300, a 3 out of 10. It's just not anywhere near good enough for the price. It doesn't make any sense in the first place, and then even what they did produce was not good enough. So that's my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I'll be done there. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.